Build your healing toolbox. Try Reiki, try hypnotherapy, try psychic sessions, try more time out in nature, try daily subliminals, try thought work, try changing your consumption, what you're putting into your body through all the five senses. Try these things. Keep what resonates with you, throw what doesn't out. See what lights you up inside. See what shifts something within you. See what makes you feel more alive. You don't have to limit yourself to one modality. The practices that will change your life, you'll know them when you find them because they're literally going to feel like coming home.
Welcome to Next Level You podcast. I'm Stefanie Dingbaum, your host, your biggest cheerleader, and your go-to girlfriend for real, raw, and uplifting conversations about leveling up in life. As a mental health therapist with over a decade of experience and a business coach helping women elevate their lives and businesses, I'm here to guide you through the mindset shifts, holistic practices, and manifestation tools you need to step into your most authentic, next level self. Whether you're here to ignite your personal growth, elevate your professional game, or simply rediscover you, this podcast is your invitation to dream bigger, go after your goals, and unapologetically claim the life you deserve. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. It's time to up-level, manifest, and glow.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Next Level You podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate you guys. I have heard back from some really loyal listeners over the past few weeks, and I just have to tell you, it warms my heart hearing from you guys. It genuinely makes my day, makes my week. When I get feedback from listeners as to like how these episodes are resonating with them, it's like, oh my God, the whole purpose behind this podcast, it's working. This is what I wanted from day one. And it's so fulfilling to hear those things. So thank you for reaching out to me if you are one of those loyal listeners. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. So I want to share with you guys these healing practices and lifestyle changes that I have made over the last 5 to 10 years of my life that literally have completely transformed my life physically, mentally, and spiritually. And it's really inspired me to share my personal health journey with you all because it's much more than just therapy alone that's benefited me. As you guys know, and if you don't, I'm a licensed therapist. I spent years in school learning how to help people heal. The practices that actually transformed my life, I didn't learn a single one of them in school. So, over the last 5 to 10 years, I have gone on a very personal healing journey that's taken me far beyond the therapy room. And that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about today. I really want to pull the curtain back on the practices that have just completely changed my mental health, my spiritual health, my physical health, and just my life in general. So today's session is not about dismissing therapy. Okay. I'm a therapist myself. Why would I do that? That's not what I'm doing. But what it is about is I want to acknowledge that therapy is just one tool in a much bigger healing toolbox. Okay. And the practices that I'm about to share with you guys, they have just been so freaking powerful than anything I ever learned in grad school. So let's just dive right in. Truth be told, talk therapy is what kickstarted my healing journey for me back in 2014, I think it was. I think that's when I started therapy for the first time. So that's what really kickstarted my healing journey. It really helped me process things, understand things on a deeper level, and it really helped me to make sense of all the pain that I was carrying at that time. So it was extremely valuable for me. It was definitely necessary for me, but it wasn't enough. It was a good start, but it wasn't enough for me. Here's what I feel like was missing. Talk therapy helped me understand my wounds. It helped me grow my self awareness, but I wouldn't say it helped me heal them at the root. Unfortunately, in the therapy world, they tell us to not use the word heal. Like, we can't technically say that we can heal people, which I roll my eyes because they give me a freaking break. I actually believe that I do have the ability to do that. But technically, we can't tell our clients that. So that's a little caveat. So while it helped me grow my self awareness, it didn't actually help me heal anything at the root. It worked with me on the conscious mind, but what was missing was the subconscious piece, the body piece, the energy healing, the spiritual healing. My spirit was still holding on to the trauma. My subconscious was still holding on to the beliefs and the patterns and the habits. And those were the parts that needed to be healed. And there was definitely a part of me, I think probably a year or maybe 2 years in. It's kind of a little fuzzy now because it's been so many years. But there was definitely a part of me after some time that knew that there had to be more. I started with a therapist who did EMDR with me, which I found was beneficial. But thank God she was a spiritual therapist because she really she went a level deeper than what I would say most therapists go. So I'm beneficial for that. I'm grateful for that. But here's the deal. Healing is not a one size fits all, okay? And it's also not linear. I had to go beyond what I learned in school and I had to find what actually worked for my whole self, my mind, body, and spirit. And it's really hard to find a one size fits all. It's really hard to find one person to fix all of that. And I say fix, not because I am broken, but because there were cracks in the foundation that needed to be fixed. So here's when things really started to change for me. I dove into Reiki and energy healing. I don't even know, probably in year 2 of the fertility journey. And that changed a lot of things for me. It helped me to regulate my nervous system. It helped me to just awaken my intuition. So, if you're not familiar, Reiki is an energy healing modality that works on the energetic body. Think chakras, your aura, your energy field. And we all have these, okay? I got trained in Reiki in 2025, and it's the best thing I ever did. I do naturally incorporate it into my private practice. I can do like one off Reiki sessions, but I also just naturally incorporate it into my therapy sessions as well. So, the first time I experienced Reiki, literally just cracked me open, you guys. I became even more curious. I also became, I feel a little bit more desperate for answer. I think intuitively I knew I needed more, and that's what drew me to Reiki initially. What it did for me was it helped me feel more calm. It helped to ground me. It helped me feel safer in my body in a way that talk therapy could not. It also gave me insights that I was not getting from therapy. I started learning how energy work is brought up in our body through like memories and patterns. And energy is not accessible through talk therapy alone, unless you're seeing a talk therapist who's also Reiki trained. But Reiki just, it gave me those answers that no therapist up till then was able to give me. It also opened me up intuitively and helped me see that I have these channeling abilities. It also helped me trust what I was receiving instead of doubting it, which was huge for me, you guys. So I noticed this rather large shift when I started doing Reiki, when I started going to Reiki sessions for myself. Before I started Reiki, I was definitely living entirely in my head. But after I started doing Reiki, I learned to trust my body. I learned to listen to my energy and trust my intuition. And we all need that realization, you guys. So many people are not tied to their intuition, and that is a problem. At the end of the day, he taught me that healing does not just happen in conversation like talk therapy. It happens in the body and the energy field. And once you understand that, everything starts to change. Energy is huge. I cannot stress that enough. So, if you're curious about Reiki, highly recommend doing just even just one Reiki session and see what comes out of that for you. Another service that I dove into, I think this was in 2016 or 17. I started doing hypnotherapy when I was in grad school. And what this helped me do was it helped me rewire years of limiting beliefs in like a fraction of the time. You guys, it was a game changer for me. Talk therapy before that was helpful. It helped me understand my limiting beliefs, but hypnotherapy took it a step deeper and it literally helped me to rewire them. So I was able to process the same belief in one hypnotherapy session that took me months in talk therapy to work through. And I never did fully work through it. So you could literally process the same belief in one or two hypnotherapy sessions that could take months in talk therapy, or you could release it in one hypnotherapy session, but potentially just build your self awareness around it in months of talk therapy. You get to choose which one sounds better. Do you want to continue to struggle and suffer or release it and feel better about yourself and your life? Here's some things that I learned to reprogram through hypnotherapy. I reprogrammed some money beliefs, went from scarcity to abundance mindset, worked through some worthiness beliefs, went from believing I'm not enough to I am inherently worthy, worked on some success beliefs, went from that fear of failure to fully trusting in my path and journey. And you guys, I could give you so many more. I healed childhood wounds. I healed past life wounds because I believe in past lives. I don't even know. There's so many things. Did a lot of womb healing while I was going through the fertility journey. I mean, it was so freaking powerful. I cannot stress that enough. The way hypnotherapy works is your subconscious runs more than 95% of your life. And if you don't reprogram it, you're going to keep replaying the same patterns no matter how much you know better. And hypnotherapy gives you access to the subconscious, and that's where that real lasting change happens. So, if you listen to other episodes on this, you know more about it, but I'm just touching the surface of it in today's episode. Today is not about diving deep into hypnotherapy, okay? But hypnotherapy was just one piece of the puzzle for me that also helped with my healing journey. Other things that supported my healing journey was I would from time to time do psychic or medium sessions. What these helped me with was it gave me more clarity, better guidance, and more spiritual validation that I felt I needed. So the reason initially that I saw out a psychic or a medium session was because of the loss of a dear friend of mine. My husband's best friend lost his wife, I think it was 2 years ago now, and it was actually the anniversary of her death was actually just 2 days ago. It was the 16th of May, and, that's what really kickstarted my sessions with psychics and mediums. Not that I was looking for answers, but I actually had a Reiki session scheduled 3 days after my friend Brandy passed away, and total happenstance, but I went to that session just knowing I wanted to work on some energy healing, not thinking I wanted to connect with Brandy at all. And then halfway through that session, the practitioner told me that there was this spirit present and she described what she looked like. And it was Brandy to a T. It was so wild, like literally blew my mind. I was not expecting that in that session. That's not why I went for that session. And she was sharing stuff with me that at the time made no sense to me. When I came home from that session, Brandy's husband, which is Mitch's buddy, was actually at our house, and I shared with him what came through from the Reiki practitioner who's also a psychic medium. And I kid you not, me sharing that with him, it gave him answers that I didn't even know he needed or was looking for at that time. It cracked him open in ways that I was not expecting. And it got him so curious that he then went to that same practitioner and did a session for himself a day later. I mean, he did a session with her prior to Brandy's wake and funeral and got answers that he needed as well. And it was just so beneficial for his own healing. So that like cracked both of us wide open. It opened my eyes to the power of medium sessions in a rather large way. Actually, I know I said that was my first one, but I actually did one back in 2020 for the first time. Uh, and I went to that medium with a group of girlfriends. There's 3 of us or 4 of us total that went to see that medium. That was the very first time was in 2020. Literally the week that COVID hit was the week we went to see that medium, which was pretty wild. So what I got from these psychic and medium sessions, because I've done multiple at this point over the years, it's given me clarity on big decisions. It's really given me guidance on making decisions in business or in life. A lot of them, though, have been more geared towards giving me guidance in my business. It's given me that spiritual validation, like, it's confirmed that I can, in fact, channel. It's confirmed that I am on the right path. It's confirmed that my intuition is real and that I am, in fact, being guided by spirit. It's also just strengthened my own abilities. It's strengthened how I trust my own spiritual gifts, and it's helped me develop my own spiritual gifts as well. It's because of those sessions that I now can admit that I have the ability to channel. So before these sessions, I really found I was doubting myself a lot, doubting my intuition, not listening to it. But after doing a number of these sessions, I now listen to my intuition and I don't doubt it or second guess it at all. I've realized now that I'm not alone. I'm constantly being guided and supported and seen by something bigger than myself. And that is huge, you guys. Psychic and medium sessions didn't tell me what to do like people think. They helped me trust what I already knew, and that's invaluable. Okay. People think they're going for answers, but what you're really doing is you're being told to trust what you already know. They're just validating things you already know. And that's so powerful. Another healing practice that has been extremely beneficial in my own healing journey is just the power of nature. Just simply being out in nature, connecting with my higher self, and grounding my nervous system. This has become an essential part of my life now, and I can't heal without it. Okay. I have to be getting out in nature, ideally once a day, if not 5 times a week. Because what I've found is nature literally pulls me out of my head and into my body. And that's what I need. What nature does for me that nothing else does for me is it connects me to my higher self. It grounds my nervous system and it reconnects me to something bigger. It sometimes gives me clarity. I often get downloads when I'm out in nature. And sometimes I walk away with a perspective that nothing else has been able to give me. It gets me out of my head and into my body as well. What I found that sometimes just sitting out in nature, whether barefoot or not, just calms my body in a way that nothing else does.
Can we talk about something real for a second? How many of you are doing everything right? Eating clean, working out, drinking your water, taking your supplements, and yet you still feel off. Like, you look in the mirror and your skin looks dull, you feel bloated for no reason, your energy doesn't match the effort you're putting in, and you're standing in front of a bathroom counter covered in serums and supplements thinking, why is this so complicated and why isn't any of this actually working? Yeah, I've been there too. And that's exactly why I'm so excited to tell you all about Glowsy. Glowsy was created by my business coach, Lori Harder, who is an absolute powerhouse and one of my biggest expanders. And here's what I love about her story. Lori and her team were living the healthy lifestyle. They were doing all the things, but they still felt bloated, drained, and frustrated that their skin and energy didn't reflect the work that they were putting in. So they asked themselves, why are we overcomplicating this? And from that question, Glowsy was born. A beauty meets wellness formula that supports your skin, gut, and hydration from the inside out. It's not another serum. It's not another drawer full of pills. It's one simple ritual that actually makes a difference. Here's what sets Glowsy apart. It's science-backed, it's clean, and it works on multiple levels. You're not just addressing surface level stuff. You're supporting your gut health, your skin's glow, your body's hydration. It's holistic wellness in the truest sense. And honestly, I can feel the difference. My skin looks clearer, my energy feels lighter, and I'm not dealing with that annoying bloat that used to follow me around no matter what I ate. It's one of those things where you didn't realize how off you were feeling until you start feeling right. Because here's the truth, great skin and a lighter, more energized body shouldn't be complicated. It should make your life better, not add to your overwhelm. If you are someone who's been doing all the right things but still not seeing or feeling the results you want, if you're tired of the endless routines and the products that overpromise and underdeliver, Glowsy is what you've been looking for. It's simple, it's effective, and it actually works. Head to getglowsy.com, that's getglowsy.com, and use code NEXTLEVEL for 10% off your first order. Again, getglowsy.com and use code NEXTLEVELU for 10% off your first order. Trust me, this is the one thing you're going to want to add to your routine. And honestly, it might be the only thing you need.
And I also think in a spiritual way, it reminds us that we're part of something bigger, something more vast and sacred and interconnected than what the eye sees. So I try to do daily walks. Ideally, I do 2 a day. I try to sit by water when I can, though the nearest body of water for me is the Mississippi, and that's an hour drive. Just so grounding though that like making time for nature is a non-negotiable for me. Before I prioritized my time out in nature, I would say I felt disconnected and dysregulated a lot more. But once I started prioritizing my time out in nature more, I felt I was grounded more often. I had more of a clear perspective, and I just noticed that I'm functioning from a place of peace more often than not. So it's been a huge game changer for me. Another healing practice that has been beneficial in my own healing journey is listening to daily frequencies and subliminals. What these do for me is they reprogram the subconscious literally on autopilot. So, if you're not familiar with what frequencies or subliminals are, they're just audio tracks. So, frequencies is just a specific noise. And then subliminals are affirmations that I then pair with frequencies, and the affirmations are embedded below the conscious hearing. So, it's like a barely audible whisper, and then it's paired with frequencies and white noise. And what the subliminals are designed to do is they help to reprogram the subconscious mind a lot faster than just listening to affirmations every day. So what I do is I play them while I'm sleeping. Sometimes I play them while I'm working in the background just as noise, or like while I'm walking the dog, I'll listen to them. And what they do is they target specific areas. Like for me, they target my money mindset, abundance mindset, confidence, worthiness, health, marriage, etc. And the great thing about subliminals is your subconscious is always listening. Even when you feel like you're not consciously aware of what's being said, your subconscious is aware of it. And the repetition, the more you listen to them, is what rewires the brain. They literally give your brain the repetition without effort. They're so freaking powerful. I cannot say enough about them. I make subliminals for every single one of my coaching clients, and I will also make them for therapy clients if they request them. So, what I've noticed from incorporating subliminals into my daily routine is I've noticed a gigantic shift in my belief system, in my thoughts, and in my behaviors. And it literally feels effortless. I'm just listening to something every day, sometimes multiple times a day, but the reprogramming is happening in the background. And that's what's so freaking powerful about this. Another healing practice that I have seen beneficial in my own healing journey is just the intentional thought work, doing the work to shift my mindset from scarcity to abundance, or from fear to trust, or from doubt to certainty. I did this work through the fertility journey because I refused to be a victim in those circumstances. What I was doing is I was actively noticing my thoughts in the moment, and then in the moment choosing different ones and replacing them, literally in the moment. The cool thing is nobody knows I was doing this. Like, you can't look at me and tell that I'm doing this, but I was in the moment shifting any thoughts around scarcity and shifting it to abundance thinking. Any thoughts around fear-based thinking and then shifting it to trust-based thinking. Any thoughts around doubt and shifting it to certainty and self-trust. And that was a game changer for me in the fertility journey specifically. I also would incorporate journaling, affirmations, reframing, asking better questions, catching those negative thoughts in the moment, and flipping them. I was doing all of that in conjunction with one another. And it was a huge game changer. I'm not going to lie. I mean, that with the subliminals flipped my mind upside down and turned me into a completely different person. And this is important, you guys, because your thoughts, they literally create your reality. Your internal world creates your external reality. So if you are constantly thinking scarcity thoughts, fear-based thoughts, and self-doubt, that's what your lived experience is going to look like. But when you intentionally shift those thoughts, you shift your energy, and then it shifts your actions, and then your results change because of all of that. I mean, it's huge. And it doesn't happen overnight, but with consistency, it doesn't take that long. And what I found from doing this work is it strengthened my mental health and my spiritual health, because I learned to choose how I was looking at the world. And it shifted things for me in a rather large way. Okay, another healing practice that really benefited my healing journey was just being selective with what I was putting into my body, what I was consuming, the environments I was putting myself in, the medications I was taking, the supplements I was taking, my alcohol or caffeine intake, all of these things. I was choosing to be very selective about what was going into my body through the five senses. not just food. When I say consumption, I'm not talking about just food, but I'm also talking about what I would consistently listen to, what I'm consistently watching, what I'm consistently hearing, who I'm consistently surrounding myself with. I became extremely selective about these things because you've heard me say this before. You become most like the 5 people you put yourself around. I wanted those 5 people to be people I genuinely wanted to show up as down the road. So I made shifts in my life. I shifted what kind of media I was looking at, what kind of environments I was putting myself around. I was being very intentional about what I was consuming through things like podcasts, news, social media, people. Quit watching the news, quit listening to the news, only listen to empowering and positive podcasts or funny podcasts. And I only consumed positive social media or none at all. I got rid of Facebook. That was back in 2020. Haven't been on since then. And I was very selective about the people I put myself around because I was protecting my energy, which meant limiting exposure to things like negativity, drama, and toxicity. If I noticed certain people always drawing me into the drama, I distanced myself from them. If I noticed certain people always focusing on the negative, I distanced myself from them. I didn't remove them from my life. I just put some boundaries in place. I just didn't need to be around them as much as I was around other more positive people. And I'm allowed to do that. So I was really selective about protecting my energy and what I was exposing it to. And then I was choosing more uplifting, aligned, high vibe content and environments for myself. So, for example, I was noticing over time that continuing to show up at certain social gatherings where everybody was drunk around me was really dragging me down. It was not filling my cup up. I was not connecting to the people at the level I wanted to connect with them at. It felt very surface level. I would walk away feeling very annoyed, frustrated, triggered. And I didn't like feeling that way. Even though I was the sober one, I did not like the mental hangover I would get from that. So I slowly just stopped attending those social gatherings, or I'd pick and choose how often I would go to them, or I would go to them but leave early enough before everybody would be drunk because my energy is that important and I had to protect it at all costs. With medications and supplements, I started being very intentional about what was going into my body. At one point in time, I started working with an integrative practitioner to find what my body actually needed, not just what Western medicine was prescribing me by default. That changed everything for me. Got my hormones balanced, got my nutrients more in optimal ranges. That changed everything for me. And I chose high quality supplements that support my health, not just masking symptoms. And if you're looking for high quality supplements, I cannot recommend enough Select Balance. It is local to my area. A friend of mine who is also an expander in the integrative health world, it's her business. She owns Select Balance supplements, and they are clean supplements, completely clean. You can't trust the supplements on the shelf at Walmart or Target, okay? You need clean ones. And unfortunately, they're not all clean, which is very unfortunate. So, yeah, I started being very intentional about what was going into my body, not just with food, but also with medication and supplements, things like that. I chose to remove alcohol, best decision I ever made for myself. Initially, I stopped drinking because I realized it wasn't going to get me pregnant. And it also was not my very first integrative practitioner asked that I decrease my drinking. I'm glad I took her advice. Best decision I ever made for myself. Again, because I was noticing that it was really dragging me down and it was really hurting my body in the long run. I mean, alcohol quite literally is poison, you guys. I cannot stress that enough. So, quitting drinking does your body a huge service. What I realized from drinking was that it was really like dysregulating me. It was really harming my nervous system. And it also really clouded my intuition and my judgment and negatively impacted my energy levels. And I did not like the person I was showing up as when I was drinking. Removing alcohol literally helped me feel better mentally, physically, and spiritually. Best decision I ever made. Last time I drank, I had 2 drinks and I felt hungover for 4 days, which was a very telltale sign for me that alcohol can no longer be a part of my consumption. Around that same time, I also chose to remove caffeine. So initially, I took caffeine out of my diet because I was seeing how it was really like making me wired in the worst way. I also noticed how it was spiking my anxiety in the worst way. Another one, even though I was very careful to not have caffeine after 2 p.m., I also noticed that it was hurting my sleep. But the big reason I took it out was because it was keeping me in that fight or flight state, which I did not like. When I took caffeine out of my diet, I started to notice how my nervous system and energy then stabilized after letting it go. That, along with alcohol, two best decisions I ever made when it comes to my physical and mental health symptoms. When you guys make choices about what you consume, whether it be food, drink, media, environment, when you make choices about what you consume, it either supports your healing or it undermines it. So I really encourage you to make choices about what you consume so that it supports your healing. You literally learned to choose intentionally, not unconsciously, which means you can intentionally unchoose it. You can intentionally remove alcohol. You can intentionally remove caffeine. We use excuses like, oh, but I'm going to have headaches, or, oh, but nobody's going to want to hang out with me on Friday night, or those friend gatherings are going to be awkward. Maybe, but would you rather have an awkward friend gathering or feel better mentally, physically, and emotionally? I mean, to me, the choice is obvious. And your result, when you're more intentional about what you consume, your result is your physical health improves, your mental health improves, and your spiritual health improves. Win, win, win. You become more energetically sensitive and more intentional about protecting that sensitivity, which is also a huge win, you guys. Okay, last thing that I did in my healing journey that was so beneficial for me was I focused more on spirituality. I focused more on what's my purpose in this lifetime, connecting to a higher power, and trusting that there's something bigger than what the eye sees. This shift to being more of a spiritual person deepened me in the best way possible. It gave me a sense of purpose that therapy alone did not provide. It answered so many questions for me. The whole like, why am I here and what am I here to do got answered in a rather large way. That's something therapy could not do for me. It gave me a sense of connection to something bigger than myself, whether that be God, source, universe, your higher self, whatever language resonates with you. It gave me that. It gave me a sense of meaning, that my life has purpose, that our struggles have meaning behind them, that we're being guided by something bigger than ourselves. And it also gave me a sense of peace, which is huge. It gave me that sense of knowing that I'm not alone, that I'm not random, and that I'm not just out here surviving. And when you integrate this spiritual piece into everything else that I mentioned in today's episode, what I realized is spirituality is really the foundation of all those other practices: Reiki, hypnotherapy, psychic sessions, nature, thought work. They all deepened when that spiritual connection deepened, and they're all connected. So I cannot say enough good things about really choosing to focus on my spiritual self, that higher version of myself. To wrap all of this up, you guys, I really want to make a point of saying it's not just one thing that heals us, okay? Our bodies, our lives, it's not in a silo. It's all of it put together that heals us. There's not one practice that changed my life over the last 10 years. It was a mixture of all of them working together, layered over time. That's what changed me. That's what healed me. Therapy did kickstart it all. Therapy gave me that awareness in the beginning, but Reiki gave me the nervous system regulation, strengthened my intuition. Hypnotherapy rewired my subconscious and strengthened my intuition. Psychic sessions validated my path and strengthened my intuition. Nature grounded me in my nervous system. Subliminals reprogrammed my subconscious. Thought work empowered me and strengthened me spiritually. Consumption choices protected me, and spirituality anchored me. And when you put all of that together, that's like, I would say that's a quantum leap potentially. So it's not one size fits all. What worked for you might not work for somebody else, and that's fine. But healing is a deeply personal journey. It's intuitive and it's experimental for some people. And honestly, your job is just to try what resonates with you. Try some things, trust what resonates, and release what doesn't. That's what I did. So here's my invitation for you guys. Don't limit yourself to one healing modality, okay? Don't think that therapy is the only answer or that it's not an answer. Build your healing toolbox. Try Reiki. When I say try Reiki, I'm not saying you have to go weekly, okay? You don't have to do it that often. Do a monthly Reiki session. Do a quarterly Reiki session. That's what I do. Try hypnotherapy. Again, I'm not saying you have to go weekly, though. In the beginning, if you're really trying to heal a lot, weekly might be beneficial, and then you can back off to bi-weekly or eventually monthly. I currently do hypnotherapy monthly, and it's extremely beneficial for me. Try psychic sessions once a year, twice a year, whatever you think you need. Try more time out in nature. Try daily subliminals. If you want me to make you some, reach out to me. I have a small fee I charge, but I'd be happy to do that for you. Try thought work. Try changing your consumption, what you're putting into your body through all the five senses. Try these things. Keep what resonates with you, throw what doesn't out, and that's fine. But see what lights you up inside. See what shifts something within you. See what makes you feel more alive. You don't have to heal the way you've been told to heal. You don't have to stay in therapy for years if it's not enough for you, if it's not doing anything for you. You don't have to limit yourself to one modality. Your healing journey is personal to you. And the practices that will change your life, you'll know them when you find them because they're literally going to feel like coming home. So here's my invite. If you're ready to explore healing beyond solely talk therapy, I'm here to support you. I offer Reiki, I offer hypnotherapy, I offer coaching, and I have my therapy services. And I'd be more than happy to help you in your own healing journey, whatever that needs to look like for you. There's also a boatload of quality practitioners out there who could also be a benefit for you. So if I'm not a good fit, I will absolutely recommend others that I think might be for you. So I really invite you guys to reflect on this today. Spend some time this week and reflect on this. What healing practices have you explored beyond therapy? And if none, what are you willing to explore? What's worked for you? What do you think might work for you? What hasn't worked for you? I'd love to hear from you as to what's worked and what hasn't. So feel free to DM me. And if you know someone who's been in therapy for years and still feels stuck, send them this episode because there's so many tools available to them that they might not be aware of or privy to. And if you want to explore hypnotherapy, Reiki, or holistic healing with me, let's talk. Let's set up a free 15-minute consultation. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Please rate and review the podcast if you haven't done so. And if you want to go deeper on any of this, please subscribe to my weekly newsletter. It's filled with a lot more in-depth information than just what we talk about on the podcast. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your week. And until next time, I will talk to you all next week.
Real quick before you go, I just want to thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. And congratulations on showing up for you. Every step you take to invest in yourself brings you that much closer to your next level self, and I'm so proud of you. If you loved this episode, share it with someone who could use a little inspiration, or take a screenshot and tag me on socials so we can keep spreading the next level you energy. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Let's freaking go!